Hey, this is Brad Zockel. Welcome to the Heaven Tour. I'm back in the barn here, and as I'm working on some different projects, I came across my level. You're familiar with this? You've probably used this hanging pictures or doing different things, and it brings things into balance. Well, that reminds me of what we're talking about whenever we talk about heaven. You know, one of the grand things that we can learn, besides all the opulence and the glories and the treasures and the love of heaven, is things will be made right again, brought back into balance. Romans chapter 8 in verses 19 through 22 tell us that creation right now, it's not in balance. As a matter of fact, there's a groaning waiting for the freedom to come. And that's going to happen. And I like this. And we keep seeing this reference happening again when we talk about, well, what will heaven be like? What would the new earth of Revelation chapter 21 be like? Well, it's going to be restored the way things should have been in the first place. Jesus himself says this. Matthew chapter 19. Go around verse 28, and you're going to see Jesus talking with the disciples, and he says, "You will also be able to reign and enjoy and love in heaven at the restoration of all things along with me." And he uses the word restoration. Then we move on down to Acts chapter 3, and when we look in the scriptures, we see this, that right now Christ is in heaven, and he's there until the renewal, the restoration of all things. Now, of all the descriptions that we've been talking about over these months, both on YouTube and other social media, is the wonders of how things will be made new, like it says in Revelation chapter 21 and verse 5, and the love that will be there, and the reunions, and the answers to the many questions we have that will be found in Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 10, all things brought together into Christ. But I like this. It'll be brought back into balance. Then we will have new bodies. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 53 through 57 tell us we'll have incorruptible bodies. We'll have imperishable bodies. And the other things is our relationship will be restored with Christ. We'll see God face to face, Revelation 22 and verse 4. So among the many promises that we see in heaven that are going to come as a promise to the believer is things will be made right again. Justice will be restored. Love will be as we could never imagine it, and it will be all for us. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 5 says, "I make all things new." And really, it's just saying this. Things will be brought back to the way they should have been in the first place. Talk some more about it. Thanks so much. This is Brad here on the Heaven Tour. I appreciate you watching. Lord willing, we'll talk again soon.